Recently, we've all been very much aware of evangelical leaders and evangelical people becoming enamored with Roman Catholicism. And the question comes up, why is that happening? When there is a clear difference between the true gospel and the false gospel of Roman Catholicism. What in the world is causing evangelicals to be attracted to Catholicism, to even be apparently embracing Catholicism as if it's one and the same as true Christianity?
Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Dinesh, a Catholic commentator from Sydney, Australia. Today I would like to discuss recent statements made by the renowned American pastor John MacArthur. In this video, Pastor MacArthur voices his apprehension regarding a recent trend of several Protestant ministers showing admiration for the Catholic faith, with some ultimately embracing it fully. According to him, the reason why this is happening is because of lack of sound doctrine among these Protestant ministers, their reluctance to uphold the truth with conviction, and a misguided notion of Christian unity. The reason I felt compelled to create this video was to highlight the sheer arrogance and the lack of charity in the way Pastor MacArthur speaks about his fellow Christians. This video struck a chord with me because when I started making YouTube videos 6 years ago, I used to express myself in the same way with a lot of disdain towards our Protestant brothers and sisters. However, with prolonged spiritual direction and advice from my well-wishers, I came to realize the importance of engaging in respectful dialogue rather than resorting to name-calling and irrational accusations. That's why I was genuinely taken aback to see someone of Pastor MacArthur's stature speak disparagingly about Catholics. So let's examine and see if his statements stand up to scrutiny. In the first clip, Pastor MacArthur points out that the primary reason why Protestant pastors are drawn towards the Catholic faith is due to lack of sound doctrine among themselves. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I think reason number one is because there's a lack of doctrinal clarity. A lack of doctrinal clarity. People don't understand sound doctrine, so they can't spot error.
It's rather ironic that he's asserting the doctrinal clarity of Protestants, considering the multitude of Protestant denominations, each with its own interpretation of the scripture. However, to be fair to him, I believe he's suggesting that if the Protestant ministers firmly hold on to the core tenets of the Protestant Reformation, such as sola scriptura, sola fide, and sola gratia, they wouldn't be drawn to the Catholic Church. Now, I would argue, on the contrary, it is precisely the doctrinal clarity of the Catholic faith that is attracting these ministers. They feel a sense of liberation from the usual disagreements and the lack of consensus in the Protestant world, where there is no ultimate authority to guide or teach, leaving them frustrated and yearning for truth. Numerous Protestant ministers who have converted to the Catholic faith have expressed that as they dwelt into the history of the Christian Church and began reading the writings of the early Church Fathers, they came to recognize that the Catholic Church has steadfastly upheld the same teachings for over 2,000 years, and it persists in doing so even today. Conversely, they observe that Protestantism has only existed for the past 500 years, yet it is already fragmented into thousands of denominations, each clinging to its own doctrines. In the second clip, he highlights that Protestant ministers convert to Catholicism because they lack the courage to stand firm in their beliefs and assert boldly that the Catholic Church is heretical.
Number two, there's a lack of courage. There's a lack of willingness to be bold and say, this is the truth, and Roman Catholicism is not the truth. Roman Catholicism is heretical. That takes courage, and it's not popular to be that dogmatic and consequently that divisive.
Once more, instead of offering logical arguments to support the idea that the Catholic Church is flawed, he simply states it as if it is universally accepted. When it comes to courage, I personally believe it takes more bravery to admit the possibility of being wrong in our interpretation of the scriptures and to embrace the new understanding offered by the Catholic Church, rather than stubbornly clinging to what you have always believed to be true based on your personal interpretation. For many Protestant pastors who decide to convert to the Catholic faith, it's not just about making a religious change. It means letting go of their livelihood, leaving behind their close circle of friends, adjusting to the social image, and perhaps the most challenging of all, admitting that they have been mistaken in their preaching of the gospel up to that point. A compelling example of this is seen in the conversion journey of Scott Hahn and Kimberly Hahn, as beautifully depicted in the book Rome Sweet Home. With that said, I pose this question to you. Which path do you believe demands greater courage? Accepting your mistake or affirming your right always? In the third clip, Pastor MacArthur discusses how the pressure for Christian unity is playing a significant role in pastors converting to the Catholic faith. Let's hear his perspective on this.
And thirdly, I think there's pressure toward unity. You know, we all talk about Christ, we all talk about his death and resurrection, so why can't we just be one with Catholics? And wouldn't that be wonderful if we all showed kind of a single front to the world? So that pressure toward a false unity is causing some people to be driven toward embracing Roman Catholicism as if it were one and the same in the true gospel.
I strongly disagree with him on the notion that many pastors are abandoning their beliefs and embracing the Catholic faith solely for the sake of unity. I can't think of a single Protestant pastor who has done so or would do so. I fail to comprehend any reason why a Protestant pastor would take such a life-altering decision because, as I stated earlier, materialistically speaking, they have more to lose by becoming a Catholic. And more so, if pastors wanted to show a united Christian front to the rest of the world, they can accomplish that without converting to Catholicism, isn't it? For instance, both Protestants and Catholics have demonstrated solidarity in issues like pro-life advocacy and have been working together harmoniously despite the differences for the past so many years. Lastly, aside from the initiatives undertaken by the Catholic Church and certain Protestant groups to facilitate ecumenical gatherings, what is this mysterious force that is propelling the push for Christian unity from the Protestant side? I can't think of anything. Finally, in conclusion, I would like to encapsulate the conversion of many Protestant pastors to the Catholic faith in the following poem. Protestant pastors, eyes alight, embrace the truth, forsake the fight. In Catholic folds, they find their place, fullness of faith, their hearts embrace. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. God bless you.